There is no place quite like Castaway Key, with crystal clear waters and an amazing breeze, beautiful weather. There's just no place like paradise. In 2 cruises, I've been to Castaway Key 3 times thanks to a wonderful schedule change that had me do a double dip on our last adventure, and let me tell you, it was unbelievable. During one of our Castaway Key days, we did not do an excursion, we just took our time, relaxed, went snorkeling, went to Serenity Bay. It was magical. But on our second visit to Castaway Key on this adventure, we went on 2 excursions. It was unbelievable. We loved them both. You can find all the footage in the vlog right there, but today I'm going to go over my favorite things about the excursions and which one I liked most. First, let's talk about parasailing. This is the first time that David or I have ever been parasailing before, and we're really glad the first opportunity we had was at Castaway Key. When it's your selected time for parasailing at Castaway Key, you make your way to Marge's Barges, where you can find several of those boats that are standing by to take you into the air. The first thing you'll do is sign a few waivers, so make sure you leave a little bit of time in advance so you can read them, sign them, and then sit in the waiting area for your parasailing to begin. After about 2 minutes of instruction, you'll make your way to your selected boat for parasailing. We had a great captain, and there were 6 other people along with us, so there were 8 people total who were parasailing on our adventure. As soon as we were underway, David and I very quickly realized that we were likely going to be the first ones in the air. It was a little bit terrifying to say the least, but we put on these harnesses, and then we sat down and got ready to go. The captain and the first mate unfurled the parachute, clipped us in, and then we were ready to go. Now, if you're thinking about parasailing at Castaway Key, be sure to sit all the way down in that little harness that you're wearing. If you're not seated properly, you're gonna feel like you're slipping out of your harness the entire time. And I know what you're thinking, Michael, how do you know this? Well, I didn't sit down properly, so it felt like I was slipping out of the harness almost the entire time. In short, it was absolutely terrifying for me to feel like I was slipping out basically the entire time. I just want to make sure you know about this, because that's something that they should have told us before we were doing anything. They kind of said, like, lean back, and I leaned back, but I was not seated. So make sure you're sitting down in the parasailing harness. Once we were up in the air, I kind of wiggled it a little bit, and then I was able to sit down. But please make sure you are seated all the way before you go up in the air. It is terrifying to go make your way up and think you're going to fall. Now keep in mind, the special harness is made so that if you do basically stand up, your legs will hold you. The harness is made like that so that you're not going anywhere. Even if you do it all wrong, you're not going to go anywhere. It'll just be kind of a different experience. But I highly recommend you sit all the way down in the harness. That way you can really experience it. Once I got over that initial terror of feeling like I was going to fall, I had a chance to look around and see an unbelievable view of Castaway Key and the Disney Wonder below us. It was all breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking to see those views from 800 feet, and once I started to get comfortable, we actually started to make our way back down to the boat, and I was thinking to myself, wow, that really didn't last long at all. As a matter of fact, it really didn't. I was recording the entire time, and we were only in the air for about 5.5 minutes, which to me seems extremely short. Once we landed back on the boat, my heart started again, and I had the opportunity to see the other groups take off from the boat and fly in the air, but it really didn't last that long at all. From the time we left the dock and were about to go parasailing to the time we got back, it only took 30 minutes, and to me that is way too short. I took a look on Disney's website, and parasailing is officially listed at 1 hour, so I'm wondering maybe that wasn't the official time, or maybe it included like the prep time. I really don't know, but David and I both came away from it saying it was just far too short. Overall, I am so glad David and I had this experience to try parasailing at Castaway Key. What unbelievable views. That was definitely the best part. Now you might be asking yourself, Michael, would you go parasailing again on Castaway Key? Well, I really don't think I would. The reason is I felt like for $107 per person to be in the air for maybe 5 minutes, it really wasn't worth the money. That's just how I felt. Beautiful views. Love the views. I'd love to see that view again, but for that much money and that little time, I feel like I wouldn't do it again at Castaway Key. By the way, David and I were extremely happy. We were the first group in the air because the very last group on our boat were the ones the captain decided to have fun with and dropped in the water. I would be extremely uncomfortable with this, and I'm really glad we were the first group, so keep that in mind. I think in the contract it says they can drop you in the water. I was uncomfortable even with the idea of it. I'm so glad that I was not dropped in the water, so just something to think about. Parasailing was a really cool experience, but the other excursion that David and I tried was jet skiing. Oh, jet skiing, how do I describe it to you? One of the most exhilarating, exciting experiences, a motorcycle on the water going 40 to 60 miles an hour with a tour guide around Castaway Key, an unbelievable experience. We started our jet ski adventure by, you guessed it, signing a few waivers, of course. Then we put our belongings into a small bin, put on life jackets, watched a small demonstration to make sure we understood what we were doing, and we got on those jet skis. Now, before this experience, I had never been on a jet ski before, but let me tell you, after being on it, I can absolutely see why some people own their own jet skis or love to experience jet skiing at Castaway Key or all around the world. There is nothing quite like experiencing going really fast on the water, total freedom of movement, dolphins jumping right next to you, open seas all around you. What an experience that was. During our jet ski adventure, there were two tour guides, one in front and one behind. It definitely made us feel really safe. Just in case anything happened, they were with us the whole time. And let me tell you, those instructors who were guiding us along, they were fantastic. I sat down on my jet ski, pushed the ignition, tried to hold the camera in my hand as I was going. That's how I got this footage, like holding the handle and pulling the accelerator like this. It was unbelievable. I'm going like this on the water, jumping up and down. Wow, wow. Once we were underway, our tour guide really cranked up the speed and allowed us to really try it out and go in circles and try going over, some smaller wave areas. It was really cool. But then we came to one spot where we started to slow down and then we stopped. And nobody really knew what was going on. And then we look around, and you may have heard this in the vlog, you may have heard me say this, but you look around and I see this dark object just in the water, and I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, that's a shark. Sure enough, it was not a shark. That was me. I'm a small fear of sharks, small one. And it's a dolphin. That was just a dolphin, and there was a dolphin pod all around us. I caught the one on the camera. Kind of came up for air for a minute. It was going all around looking for some food. But wow, that was an unbelievable experience to be that close to wild dolphins. That's a shark. Oh, dolphin! Dolphin! There's a pack of dolphins! There's dolphins right in front of me! Once we saw the dolphin pod, we really cranked up the speed and started to go really fast away from Castaway Key. And I kept looking behind me, I'm like, okay, the wonder's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I was thinking to myself, so where are we going? Like, are we going somewhere? Sure enough, we came across a small sandbar, which felt like it was in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it felt like you were alone. That was just you and a small bit of sand in the middle of the ocean. Once we were on the sandbar, the tour guides gave us the opportunity to walk around, rest our hand a little bit, because your hand gets kind of sore pulling that trigger for a little while, and then we had the opportunity to just see these amazing views. It really highlighted the trip for David and me. After about 5 or 10 minutes, we got back on the jet skis and made our way back to Castaway Key. It was an unbelievable experience, one that David and I will not soon forget. I loved every minute of jet skiing. I really, really did. I thought it was one of the most amazing things I have ever done, and to answer the same question, would I do it again? In a heartbeat. And it cost a very similar amount to the jet skiing, but I felt like it was well worth the cost. I would do it again so quickly for another $100 per person. It was amazing. If you're thinking about going jet skiing at Castaway Key, there's only one big item I would recommend you consider, and that's the upper body strength you need to kind of control this basically motorcycle on the water. Don't worry, you do not have to be Hercules to go on the jet skis. The only member of my family who I think might want to opt out of the jet skis is my grandmother, just for obvious reasons. I think that it might be a little bit much for her. That's just something to think about. I'm telling you how I felt about it just for your information. David and I both agree that jet skiing was well worth the cost. We want to do it again in the future. It was just unbelievable. Now, those are only two of the possible excursions at Castaway Key that we had a chance to experience on this trip. If you have any other suggestions for ones you've been on before or things that you think we should try in the future, let me know in the comments below. I'm open to suggestions. I want to know what we should do next time at Castaway Key. I also want to hear your thoughts if you've been on the parasailing or jet skiing at Castaway Key. Did you enjoy it? Did you feel like the parasailing was too short? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.